Today on Running to Him. Taking responsibility for your actions means accepting adverse consequences upon yourself. Today's reading from the reading plan is Genesis chapter 42, verses 29 through 43:15. Genesis 42:37 says, Then Reuben spoke to his father, saying, You may put my 2 sons to death if I do not bring him back to you. Put him in my care, and I will return him to you. And Genesis 43, verses 8 and 9 says, Judah said to his father Israel, Send the lad with me, and we will rise and go, and that we may live and not die, as well as you and our little ones. I myself will be surety for him. You may hold me responsible for him. If I do not bring him back to you and set him before you, then let me bear the blame for you forever. Now I chose these 2 passages because I wanted to contrast how Reuben and Judah shared their desire to take responsibility if something happened to Benjamin. One took responsibility by letting others pay for his failure, and the other took responsibility by offering himself. You will remember that Reuben argued that to take Joseph, strip him, and place him in a pit to die. In the back of his mind, he thought he could come back at some point and rescue Joseph, and in doing so, redeem himself to his father. Chapter 37, verses 20 through 22. On the other hand, Judah argued that they should sell Joseph to the traders and make some money while ridding themselves of their pesky brother. Chapter 37, verses 26 through 27. Both had a solution to the Joseph problem, but Reuben was attempting to use that solution to restore his relationship with his father to the detriment of his brothers. Years later, he again attempts to show his sincerity or insincerity to his father when he makes a strange offer of 2 of his sons' lives as payment for failure. Both at the time, Reuben selfishly offered others to resolve his father's pain. Reuben proved himself to be a very self-centered individual. Judah, on the other hand, offered himself as a payment if he failed to keep Benjamin safe. He said that he was risking eternal separation from his father for his failure. He was willing to take responsibility for his actions. In our world today, we are surrounded by political leaders who are willing to offer others for their mistakes. They often say that they'll take personal responsibility for their actions, but it is others who take the pain and the punishment. We as believers must always seek to stop the blame game and accept responsibility for our actions. Now, I disagreed with those who evaded the draft during the Vietnam War. I felt then and feel today that those who left the United States and sought refuge in Canada or another country rather than face the penalty of their beliefs were either liars, cowards, or both. However, Muhammad Ali, who was against the war, went to jail for his beliefs. While I disagreed with his position, I praised him then and now for having the courage to accept the results of his actions. On April 16, 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King wrote a letter answering some critics from the Christian and other religious communities concerning his continuing to protest racial injustice. His arguments are powerful reminders of our responsibility as Christians to, open quote, fight, close quote, for that which is right. In the closing paragraphs of the letter, Dr. King writes, quote, I hope that you are able to see the distinction I am trying to point out. In no sense do I advocate evading or defying the law as would the rabid segregationists. That would lead to anarchy. One who breaks an unjust law must do so openly, lovingly, and with a willingness to accept the penalty. I submit that an individual who breaks a law that conscience tells him is unjust and who willingly accepts the penalty of imprisonment in order to arouse the conscience of the community over its injustice is in reality expressing the highest respect for law. This was written from a letter from the Birmingham jail, April 16, 1963. We as Christians must stand for right and accept the consequences of that stand. Thank you for listening. We pray that today's devotion was meaningful to you. We would love to hear from you. You can use either Facebook or YouTube to like, subscribe, share, and tell others about us. If you would like to contact us, you can reach me at phineasjacobus@runningtohim.net.